Usually, and in the historical, past, well, have been used as ways of segregating, racially segregated. And I always tell people when I came from apartheid South Africa, this looked like being back home. Yeah, you'd have, and you might know in the popular expression, this or that side of the tracks. All right, so this is and still continues to be a divide. Okay, no guards, of course. No booms, all right? So, anyway, public safety issues are not particularly high. Anyway, Martel would tell the story of going over and kids playing on this abandoned lot. And as I said, one of the stories he would tell is how in hunting, wildlife and how they would do it, they would generally find dead animals there, all right? And as he got older and more politically conscious and active, he started to notice these strange-looking people suited in these hazmat materials, hazmat suits, and began to make inquiry. And so, anyway, cut a long story short, the upshot of it was we were able then to go into the historical records to find out that on the site of 5th and Hill Street is an abandoned power plant, right? That operated and generated power and as part of Illinois Power. And this used to be the track that, the coal would come. That used to be a fuel depot on the right-hand side over there. Okay, and this was the actual site. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with what's called a manufactured coal to gas plants. Right? So they would take coal, heat it up, chemically treat it, and you'd get gas. All right? The problem with that is you have a heavy residue left called coal tar. Coal tar is this toxic soup of, amongst other things, what people in hazardous substances would call BETX for short, BETX, which is benzene, ethylene, toluene, and xylene. It's a witch's brew of known carcinogens. All right, they buried that underground here, right? That thick residue. And in the 1980s, well, they then sold the land to the American Legion, who set up a post here. As the American Legion was trying to excavate, discovered this toxic stuff just below ground. That resulted in a cleanup of about, I think, 10,000 tons of coal tar. Really nasty stuff. 20,000 tons of soil. Was shipped probably, I'm not sure, out of state. And one of the things when you go to the IEPA website, Illinois Environmental Protection Agency, you'll see there's no waste dumps in Champaign. Of course, they don't tell you where it is. Okay, but now, well, under or through struggles of people in the environmental justice movement, significant victories which are now under threat were, won. One of it is under the Right to Know Act, or Freedom of Information, something called the Toxics Release Inventory, TRI. And if you go and Google scorecard.org, all right, you can find out based on your zip code how polluted is your neighborhood. Just key in your zip code. They'll bring out all of the contaminated sites. Right? It's very important. They're trying to shut it down. It's a very important environmental activist tool. Right? One of the victories of the upsurge of the 1970s movement, as I said, currently under threat. And under threat by something called in urban planning this brownfields movement. Okay? And the brownfields rehabilitation site. So, two particular categories, and right now, it's so easy under Google Earth. I don't know if some of you got the new Google Earth drones. You could, under Google Earth, search, and there's a file marker that will be something called leaking underground storage tanks, LUST. Okay, LUST. I think what is the file sign. But with that marker, which you can find on the IEPA website, okay, Google Earth will fly you to a site, right, to show you. There's also something called SRP, Strategic Remediation Projects. So you can find out. And if you bring up that under Google Earth, Illinois is just bristling red with lots of dots. Chicago is so dense. Okay, and this is information which is generally out there, but I think increasingly is being mobilized. So, okay, hey presto, some of this comes up. All right, but that's about it. and links you to the TRI, and there are some other emissions. As Marty will tell us later about Kraft, ACH. The second biggest employer in Champaign after the U of I is Kraft Foods, right? Which now, quite interestingly, is Kraft Foods Global. All right? So mac and cheese is going global. It's still as nutritious as, toilet paper. But it's going global. All right? And I know, my kids love it. I don't know. I think some part of it is addictive, I'm sure. Okay. So that's part of how we... we're still busy in the research phase. We're trying to dig up and bring it out to the public attention.